All right, let's dive right into a story that is just epic. We're talking about a saga of exploration, loss, and discovery that literally pushes the boundaries of the known world. This is the story of the Jormungandr, a ship and its crew destined to sail right off the map and into legend.
So picture this. You're in a Viking mead hall. It's loud, it's warm, fires are crackling, but then one voice cuts through all that noise with a single request, and the whole room just goes silent. The call is for a story about a hero who's been lost for years. Erik the Bold, the chieftain's son, who sailed west and just vanished. That one question right there, that's the spark that lights this entire fire.
You know, every great journey has to start somewhere, and this one doesn't begin with a thirst for gold or glory. Nope, it starts in the quiet sorrow of a father, a chieftain. It's a mission born from grief, but it's about to be fueled by the vision of a young warrior and an entire community's hope.
So, years have passed since Erik disappeared, but for Chieftain Arnulf, that pain is still fresh. But then this young warrior, Ragnar Serpentai, he sees something more than just an old wound. He sees an unanswered question, a saga left unfinished. He goes to his chieftain, not with big promises of conquest, but with a simple, respectful request. Let me go find out what really happened.
And this is what's so amazing. Ragnar's personal quest immediately becomes everyone's mission. This isn't just a few guys building a boat. The entire settlement of Birka gets involved. The women are organizing food preservation on a scale they've never seen before. The kids are out gathering herbs and berries. The elders are sharing their wisdom on what will last on a long voyage. A whole workers' camp pops up. And get this, nobody is working for pay. They're working for hope.
And here's where you see the real genius of Viking shipbuilding. They aren't just hacking down trees. They're selecting the perfect oak, one with a natural curve to be the backbone of the ship. They use this incredible technique, radial splitting, to create planks that are both flexible and unbelievably strong. And maybe most important of all, Ragnar and his men are working right there alongside the shipwrights, building not just a ship, but a crew. Finally, they christen her Jormungandr, the serpent that encircles the entire world. I mean, talk about a perfect name for a vessel with a goal this big.
Okay, so the ship is built, the goodbyes are said, and the community has poured its soul into this voyage. Now the real journey begins. Now they have to sail clear off their own maps and head straight into the mists of pure legend. Just take a look at this timeline. It really gives you a sense of the absolutely massive scale of what they were trying to do. This is not some little trip across a fjord. They are crossing the brutal, unforgiving North Atlantic. And each one of these stops along the way isn't just a place to get supplies, it's a world-changing discovery in its own right. Now, you might expect their first big stop in the Orkney Islands to be a typical Viking raid, right? But that is not what happens. Not at all. Instead of conflict, they find curiosity, and it leads to this incredible agreement. A young Viking, Ketil, he actually volunteers to stay behind with the Picts to learn from them. And in exchange, a curious Pict named Connell joins the Jormungandr. It's literally a trade of futures, built on nothing but mutual respect and a desire to learn. Their next stop in Iceland is somehow even more surprising. They're expecting maybe a barren wasteland or maybe some fellow Norsemen. Instead, they stumble upon a forgotten monastery of Irish monks. And here's the real kicker. Their leader, Aid, can speak a version of their own language. He tells them they aren't the first to wander so far, and he shares stories he's heard of vast green forests even farther to the west, which, of course, just adds more fuel to their quest. So, after surviving that immense journey across the Atlantic, they finally make landfall in a new world. And what they find waiting for them is something that no Viking saga, no legend could have ever prepared them for. I absolutely love this line. I think it perfectly captures the pure shock and awe these Vikings were feeling. Ragnar's right-hand man, Bjorn, this big, tough warrior, is so overwhelmed that the only thing he can compare this place to is Valhalla, the Hall of the Gods. This isn't just a new land, it's a whole new reality. So what did they actually see? Well, a civilization that, in many ways, was far beyond their own. Imagine seeing colossal stone pyramids that made your own chieftain's longhouse look like a little toy. A city with a complex network of canals for boats. A central market just teeming with thousands of people. And maybe the most mind-blowing thing of all this intricate stonework, this incredible precision, was done without any iron tools, the very thing the Vikings depended on. And then,
The moment that changes absolutely everything. The Vikings and the Maya are standing there, facing each other, separated by this huge gulf of language and culture. And a young Maya man steps forward, looks right at them, and speaks. In perfect, unaccented Swedish. Can you even imagine the shock? It's a moment that just defies all logic.
So how on earth was that possible? Well, Kooballu had a unique gift, a kind of telepathic ability. He was able to link his mind with one of his elders and, in an instant, just absorb the Vikings' language. This one incredible, miraculous act did more to build a bridge between their worlds than any weapon or treaty ever could. It was the ultimate key to peace.
After spending months living with the Maya, learning from them, sharing their own culture, the time finally comes to go home. But the journey back is going to be just as dangerous as the one out, and the crew is about to return to a world that suddenly feels a whole lot smaller than when they left.
The journey home is just brutal. They lose 4 men in a horrifying ambush on a beach at night. Then, in Greenland, they finally learn the sad truth about Erik the Bold. He was killed in a small, pointless conflict. They have to survive these monstrous storms in the open ocean, and they're even forced to make a frantic escape from a Frankish port after word gets out about the treasures they carry. Survival was never, ever guaranteed.
11 years. Just let that number sink in. For 11 long years, Chieftain Arnulf waited, never knowing what happened to his son. Ragnar's journey, which began as a mission to find answers, finally brings a painful but necessary peace to the old man, closing a circle of grief that had spanned more than a decade.
So, the Ragnar who left Birka as a warrior and an explorer, he's not the same man who returns. He comes back as something more, a leader, a visionary, someone who has seen things his people can barely even comprehend. The knowledge he carries now has the power to completely reshape their entire world.
And that brings us to the final, big question of this whole saga. Sure, the Vikings discovered a new continent, but didn't the Maya, with their incredible civilization and Kooballu's gift, just as profoundly discover the Vikings? It really makes you think about what discovery even means. Is it about planting a flag, or is it about that powerful exchange of ideas that ends up changing both worlds forever?